The brutal truth is, some foods trigger IBS symptoms more than others, and the food you ate today might be the reason that you're suffering so much. I'm David Watson, an IBS specialist, and I've helped hundreds of people manage their IBS symptoms. And one of the main things I see in my clients is an abundance of food triggers that are hidden in their diet that they don't know about. So let's go through the main IBS food triggers to help you manage your IBS symptoms effectively. Firstly, let's quickly understand what happens when we have an IBS trigger. IBS affects the large intestine, and it can cause gas, bloating, diarrhea, and constipation. Now, whilst triggers can vary from person to person, some people might be more prone to the gut-brain connection, others maybe their microbiome is out of whack, so then probiotics can be helpful. It's super important to remember that certain foods can be problematic to IBS sufferers. The reason these foods cause issues is how they're processed in our digestive system. Some are poorly absorbed, some feed harmful bacteria, and some just irritate our already sensitive gut lining. Now, the biggest category of IBS triggers is high FODMAP foods. FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. Basically, they are fermentable carbohydrates that can cause problems in our gut. Let's break down the main foods that are in this high FODMAP group. The first one is fructans, and this can be found in wheat, garlic, onion, and a lot of different vegetables like asparagus and artichokes. This is why pasta is maybe not a good option for you. The second one is lactose. This is a common dairy trigger. Milk, ice cream, cheeses. If you're lactose intolerant, which many IBS sufferers are, then you need to avoid dairy. The third food type is fructose. Think honey, sweeteners like high fructose corn syrup, also fruits like apples and pears. After fructose, we have galactans, which are things like lentils, chickpeas, beans. Yes, super annoyingly, even these super healthy foods can be problematic. Then last, we have polyols, which is in a lot of artificial sweeteners like sugar-free gums, mints, but also some fruit like peaches and plums. So having gone through all of that list, you can imagine it's pretty tricky to avoid high FODMAP foods because they're just in a lot of things, and a lot of healthy things at that. Now, beyond FODMAPs, and I will tell you at the end of this video how you can try to find out which triggers you have, because obviously you don't want to be eliminating foods which are actually good for you. But there are some other categories that I would just like to talk about first before we go on to how to find your gut triggers, and that is fatty and fried foods. So think takeaways, chips, burgers. Fatty foods can overstimulate the gut and cause gas, bloating, diarrhea. They're often too much for our sensitive guts to handle. Next, we have spicy foods. Capsicum, which is the compound that makes peppers and chilies hot, can irritate our gut lining and cause symptoms. Then we have your caffeine, such as coffee, energy drinks. These tend to worsen diarrhea prominent IBS because actually they can be useful, especially coffee, in constipation. And with all these categories, it's worth noting that some people are more sensitive than others. You might find that fatty foods is absolutely fine for you, but then coffee is your main trigger. Another gut trigger can be alcohol. It's inflammatory to the gut. It can disrupt gut bacteria and often contains high FODMAP ingredients. So for example, beer is made out of wheat, so that's a no-go for many IBS sufferers. And finally, just in general with IBS, processed foods will probably not be good for you. They're not good for anyone, but they're especially not good for you. And there's two main reasons for this. The first is that processed foods have so much stuff in them that are high FODMAP or irritating to the gut, and it's very hard when you're searching for a chocolate bar or for a snack to find something that just doesn't have any low FODMAP ingredients. But the second thing is they're just not good for you. They're full of hidden fats, lots of sugar. Even if you're watching this video and you don't have IBS and you're watching it because you want to help a friend that has IBS, I would encourage you to not eat processed foods yourself. It's not good for you. So you're probably thinking at this stage of the video, David, you've literally named every food known to man. How do I eliminate all of these and still maintain a healthy weight? Well, the first thing is it's important that you don't eliminate every single food item that I've mentioned in this video, because it's about personalization. Person A might really suffer with artificial sweeteners, and every time they have it, they get diarrhea symptoms, but everything else they tend to be fine with. And then person B might actually be fine with artificial sweeteners, but it's caffeine that's the issue. So don't go about eliminating every single food item. Here's what I'd recommend doing instead. Step 1, start with the obvious culprits. If you haven't already, try eliminating your most common triggers for 2 to 3 weeks. Many IBS sufferers have an inkling of what is causing their symptoms. So for example, someone could find that every time they have dairy or they have fatty foods that they get symptoms. So what I would say is cut out the fatty foods, cut out the dairy, see if your symptoms get better. If they don't within a couple of weeks, then it's probably not those that are causing your symptoms, so you can reintroduce slowly. If you did feel better in those 2 to 3 weeks, then it's still important to reintroduce some amounts of dairy, because it could be that you can't have a whole glass of milk, but you can have a quarter, so then you're not getting nutritionally inadequate in calcium, but you're still having a little bit of dairy. The second tip I'd have for this is just cook more at home. Restaurant foods are often loaded with things that we just can't eat. So for example, I know that a lot of restaurants will coat stuff in butter, garlic, onion. These are my food triggers. I can't have them, so I find it easier to cook at home. Anyway, I hope that video helped. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.